If you just push play on this video, your view, your time, and your energy is much appreciated. But I must forewarn you, you did not just tune into your local news. You tuned into your local Negro news.
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis?
Oh my God, he said the N-word. And what does that mean? It simply means...
My boy, it's gonna be legend! Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Wait for it.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Keep waiting. Wait for it. Here it comes. Almost there. Dairy. Legendary.
It simply means this is my ignorant opinion on what's going on in the world today. Which leads us to today's video. John Elway's longtime agent dies following golf cart accident. Please forgive me, I'm a little bit under the weather today, but if you understand YouTube, if you ain't constantly cranking out videos, YouTube will forget you. So, we need to get to the meat of this story. John Elway was driving a golf cart. His longtime agent was riding with him. Somehow he fell out and died. I don't know how fast golf carts can go, but I would assume they're not as fast as cars. Was John Elway drunk? Because I also know I just did a video on the local sheriff here coming from a golf course. He was pissy drunk and tore up a city vehicle. So, let's get to the video because I'm talking too much.
Starting, though, with John Elway's business partner who died early this morning after suffering a serious injury. He fell from a golf cart over the weekend. Thanks for joining us for 9 News at 5. I'm Tom Green.
I'm Kim Christensen. 9 News investigators confirmed that Elway was driving that cart when Jeff Sperbeck fell off and suffered a head injury on Saturday. The two had known each other for decades. Kevin Vaughn from 9 News investigates joins us. Where does the death investigation stand at this point, Kevin?
Well, Kim and Tom, the Riverside County Sheriff's Office opened this investigation into this incident on Monday. It's ongoing, and we're still waiting to get new details on what exactly they're looking at. John Elway and Jeff Sperbeck were longtime business partners in a winery and other ventures. They had been at the Stagecoach Music Festival in Indio, where the performers included Jelly Roll, Sturgill Simpson, Nelly, and others. A little after 7 p.m. California time on Saturday, Elway and Sperbeck were returning to the Madison Club in La Quinta, about 2 miles away. Elway owns a home in that gated golf community. Something went terribly wrong, and Sperbeck fell off the back of the golf cart Elway was driving. Sperbeck died early this morning at a hospital in Palm Springs. He was 62.
Maybe age played into it. He was 62, but, you know, I don't think you're supposed to be zooming around a golf course. So what really happened is alcohol involved. There's an investigation. Is John Elway on his way to be charged in this case? We don't know.
The circumstances of this accident are presumably at the center of that sheriff's investigation. We just recently got a statement from John Elway. He said, "I am absolutely devastated and heartbroken by the passing of my close friend, business partner, and agent, Jeff Sperbeck. There are no words to truly express the profound sadness I feel with the sudden loss of someone who has meant so much to me." That's from John Elway. Kim and Tom?
So as you can see, that's what's been going on. That story's kind of slipping.
In the evening on August 3rd, 2022, the owner of Lee's Deli in Racine, Wisconsin, called 911. Officers were quickly informed and attempted robbery.
Jeez, shit didn't even want to get shut out. So, we heard what happened. Let's go over here to Sidebar, Law and Crime Sidebar. They do a great job. This is Jesse Weber. Let's see what he put together.
John Elway be facing criminal charges for a reported golf cart incident that resulted in the death of his longtime friend and agent. Reporting indicates authorities are looking into what may have happened here. Let's break down what we know and what we can expect. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. All right, we have an update for you. This breaking news right now out of California. TMZ reporting that law enforcement are possibly investigating a golf cart incident involving NFL Hall of Famer John Elway that left his longtime friend, agent, manager, business partner, Jeff Sperbeck, originally seriously injured on life support, but we can now confirm he in fact died. This is a terrible, terrible tragedy. That's the situation that we are apparently seeing unfold right now. Now, in terms of this investigative probe, more specifically, the Riverside County Sheriff's Office is now looking into this. And the question, of course, is was a crime committed? And what crime could that potentially be? Now, per TMZ, there is, quote, no indication that John Elway did anything wrong. But from what we've been able to piece together so far about the incident involving the former Denver Broncos quarterback is that this past Saturday, 64-year-old Elway and 61-year-old Sperbeck and their wives were leaving a party in La Quinta Madison Club. Now, this is a private golfing community, although 9 News is indicating it may have been Elway, Sperbeck, and Elway's son Jack who were on the golf cart. But it is being reported that Elway was driving this golf cart and Sperbeck fell out of the back, hit his head hard on the asphalt. California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection ended up responding after Elway apparently called 911. 9 News reporting that a source says Elway is devastated by what has happened to his friend. Ali Simon.
Of course he's devastated, especially if he was zooming around, fucking around, he done had drinks and killed his friend. Of course he's devastated.
Witness on the scene told KESQ, it was so sad and our hearts just go out to the families. We got there and was unfortunately lying on the ground. There were people surrounding him just trying to make sure he was okay. People were on the phone just trying to get help there as soon as they possibly could. It was so scary. It was nothing like we ever seen. You just don't think you're ever going to witness anything like that. Now, we sat down and we did an interview with John Day, criminal defense attorney, but when we did this interview, it was while Sperbeck was reportedly on life support in this critical condition, but it was before we learned that he ultimately died. So keep that in mind as we now throw to this interview with John Day. John, thanks so much for taking the time. Are you surprised that the reporting indicates authorities are now looking into this, investigating this? Does that mean they're not convinced that this is purely an accident, or is this standard operating procedure?
You know, Jesse, I think it's standard. You have an accident with someone is seriously injured involving a vehicle. And in California, a golf cart is a vehicle for the purposes of something like a DWI, for example, a DUI. There's no indication that that's what happened. But when you have a vehicle incident where someone is hurt and you've got medics responding, of course, local law enforcement.
Let me throw this out there. He's a defense attorney. So he's talking from the view if I'm defending John Elway. You should have had a prosecutor on there to see where the criminal things could come in. He doesn't charge people with crimes. He gets them out of trouble. So that's where Jesse Weber fucked up. I would have been smarter to have a prosecutor because the prosecutor is the one who sets the crime. Cops don't set no crime. They just arrest you. So, Jesse Weber, you suck for that.
Of course, in this case, the Riverside Sheriff's Department is going to show up and do an investigation. Do they make contact with Elway? Is there some indication that he had, alcohol on his breath? Again, no one has said this. There's no indication that there was. But the local Sheriff's Department is going to do its accident investigation just to find out.
I mean, what do these old white men do at these golf courses? They drink. They get fucked up. So let's not sit around here and act like that's not a strong possibility. You keep saying, oh, they didn't say that. No, they're going to try to cover it up. He's a resident of that state. He's white and powerful. That's John Elway.
What happened?
And what does that consist of?
First, they're going to make contact with the driver of this vehicle. In this case, John Elway. They're going to talk to witnesses. They're going to see, was there any, it's a private golf club. You would think there would be some kind of surveillance video. When the initial officers or the deputies make contact with the driver, in this case, Elway, was there any indication that he had had anything to drink? Did he say, yeah, I had a couple of beers? Could they smell something on his breath that smelled like an alcoholic beverage? How did his eyes look? Were they bloodshot and watery? Those are all sort of the standard indicators of someone who's driving a vehicle impaired impaired. And remember, in California, a golf cart is considered the same thing as any other motor vehicle. So the initial responding deputies are going to do this investigation. They're going to determine whether or not anything happened that was other than just a tragic accident.
Yeah, and I think that's the question, right? What they might be looking into, why this is happening. No comment from Elway. What do you think? What are the thoughts on that?
I mean, that's standard. If you're his, I'm sure one of the things he did initially was contact his attorneys, and he was told, don't say anything. I mean, if the deputies are talking to you, that's one thing, but don't make any comment outside of the initial investigation. That's pretty standard. And someone like Elway has had so much experience dealing with the media and other outlets that he's going to be certain that, nothing he says is going to be prominent right now. But again, there's no indication of anything other than people on a golf cart. If you've driven those things, you know that if you hit the accelerator, you can move pretty fast. And there's no indication one way or the other what happened. But that's why the deputies at Riverside County are doing this initial investigation.
Totally.
So there you have it. Over the weekend, John Elway was driving a golf cart. His longtime friend and business partner and manager, 62-year-old, fell off the back, hit his head on some grass, and he died. We don't know where the investigation is at. We don't know if John Elway had been drinking. We don't know any of those things, but I will definitely keep you posted. I just felt this was a story that went under the radar. And like I always say, I present you with the facts. I give you my opinion on those facts. And if you like how I do that, click that like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, click all, so you can get notifications every time I drop one of these videos. If you're a supporter of the channel, much love and respect goes out to you. I salute. And if you're one of these haters and you support this type of behavior, jetting all over the place in golf carts and getting your friends killed, cut the shit. That part.